Kampala and have a bit of a cold, but I hope you'll be able to hear me clearly and give this statement the prominence you have given to other people on this matter, equal prominence. I have a brief 4-point statement. 1. I retired as the Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya after slightly more than 20 years of service on August 27th, 2011. And therefore, for over 8 years, I have not been a member of the executive. The good-hearted people of the county of Busia have twice given me the honor and privilege of serving them as their senator. During this period since my retirement, up to now, although the levels of corruption have considerably risen, I have not been mentioned, suspected, investigated, nor mentioned, nor prosecuted in connection with corruption. On the contrary, I have been a witness in a number of Anglo-Lucian cases which are being prosecuted before the courts of law. I was therefore baffled and perplexed when out of the blue, without any notification whatsoever, or without being given the fundamental right of being heard on any allegation against me, the travel ban was announced on 18th November 2019 when I was on a very important mission of the East African community in Kampala, Uganda. I'm therefore entitled to ask, where has the utter commitment to the protection of human rights, to the rule of law, to constitutionalism gone in the United States of America? 2, the reasons given on 4th December 2009, slightly over 10 years ago, for the revocation of my visa and the permanent suspension of my entry into the United States of America were that I had engaged in corrupt actions which adversely affected the national interests of the United States of America. The current travel ban, the allegation is that I was involved in significant corruption, both in that year, 10 years ago, 2009, and now, 10 years later. They relate to my period as Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya. It is therefore, you journalists, an old story being resuscitated for reasons best known to whoever is doing it. For the time being, timing best known to whoever is doing it. Instead of dealing with the developments in the area of corruption which have occurred in the last 10 years since my last travel ban, they have decided to go into history and flog a dead horse. One therefore must be left to wonder, why should a travel ban be issued when there is already one in place issued 10 years ago based on the same reasons? You investigative journalists, find out why. 3, I am against corruption. And I believe I, as an individual, and the people of Kenya as a whole are entitled to full disclosure on the general allegations of corruption against me. These nebulous accusations and aspersions do not help in the fight against corruption and can in fact be defamatory in nature. And why am I saying this? It's because of the experience I've undergone. As regards the previous travel ban, on my instructions and personal authorization, my attorney, in other words, my advocate, they call them in America attorney, my attorney in Washington, D.C., on 24th October 2012, applied to receive, under the Freedom of Information Act, copies of all the documents relating to the 4th November 2009 revocation of the A1 diplomatic visa, which had been issued to me on 16th September 2008. He applied. And if I may digress a bit, he applied because in all the correspondence leading to the corruption, the only allegations against me, leading to the revocation of the visa, the only allegation against me, Amos Wako, was lack of prosecution of corruption cases. Allegations which I had responded to and challenged them to give me just one case where, just one would do for me, where the police investigators completed their investigations and there was enough and credible evidence, and they placed that case, investigation case, on my desk, and I refused to prosecute. I challenged them, just tell me one, then you'd have proved their case. And they were unable to do so. But when the travel visa came, there was this strange, out of a new allegation of corruption for the first time. An allegation they had not put in writing to me, leading to the travel ban of 2009. And it was because it was a new allegation against me, which had not been given to me in terms of the natural justice, that I instructed the attorney in Washington that we have the information which forms the basis of my corruption. And in America, they have the Freedom of, the Freedom of Information Act. So my lawyer, on 24th October, applied to receive, under the Freedom of Information Act, copies of all the documents leading to the 4th November 2009 revocation of my visa. In spite of numerous reminders from my attorney, in America, which things are very efficient, it took 6 months, over 6 months, before my attorney received a reply. And wonder of the wonders, The reply was to the effect that they are unable to provide any information on our request. And I have the letters and the documentation with me. This therefore leads me, and now they repeat the same thing, this therefore leads me to demand that if indeed the United States of America is a valued and serious partner in the fight against corruption, let them share with me and also make it public for the Kenyans to know the full particulars of the allegations of corruption against me. I must say that I'm confident of my own integrity and have nothing whatsoever to hide. So let them disclose it to the people of Kenya, not in some walls in Washington. To me, failure to do this will put into question their rhetoric about fighting corruption. Number 4, my family was not involved at all when I was discharging my functions as the Attorney General. My son is an adult and an excellent and successful legal practitioner with well-known expertise in various fields on the African level, and living a very independent life. So that even if I committed the sin of corruption, assume I committed it, which I emphatically deny, it would be my personal responsibility, and my wife and son, and indeed all members of my family, should not be punished for my sins. I do not pretend to be Jesus to die for other people's sins. I'm just an ordinary Amos Wako. Punish me for my sins, and let my son Julius and my wife Laura at peace, because they have their own lives to lead. To me, therefore, the mention of my wife and son was in bad taste. Now, in conclusion, let me, 1, reiterate what I stated in a lengthy statement after the 4th November 2009 travel ban. And there I stated, I am totally indifferent to the revocation of the visa by the United States of America. Indeed, I have no desire whatsoever to go there. But I have been going there every year since that travel ban, but that's because of my responsibilities as a commissioner, United Nations Commissioner on the International Law Commission. And because of the agreement the USA has with the United Nations, those who go there on UN work must go there. And I'm glad I'm in a very good company in that regard, of very good statesmen who, although not liked in areas of human rights violations, are allowed to go and address General Assembly meetings. I've been going there for my work as a Commissioner of International Law Commission, where I'm privileged to serve, even now. 2, to conclude, I am eternally grateful to God, who has continued to bless me even more and enabled me to continue playing important roles in Kenya, in the region, and internationally. And I thank you. That's my brief statement. And I thank you. Let me go.
No, don't go. Senator, my name is Gashuri.
Who?
My name is Gashuri from Citizen TV.
Gatwiri of?
Gashuri from Citizen TV.
Uh-huh.
Why Why would you